title this from now on. Anytime me and my cousin together, this is going to be a stable title. It's going to be called the Family Talk Show. And with my cousin, who's got this channel, the Hoosier Vapor.
The Vaping Hoosier.
Oh, the Vaping Hoosier.
Yeah.
Check him out if you ain't already. Hit like, share, and subscribe on his channel. Be a fan of his, because if you like me, well, you'll probably like him better.
Not so much, but I can be pretty funny at times. But I'm doing a lot of. We just put a video up over there. If you'd like, go check it out. I'm gonna start doing e-juice reviews, like we just reviewed this juice here, the Magic Man by One Hit Wonders. Great juice. He even agrees he likes it.
And I'm not a vapor. Y'all know this. Seen proof of it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no particular subject on this, but there's a few things I'd like to hit on. After all, I'm wearing my Chicago Blackhawks team hat, and I just recently found out that even though they went to Canada and kicked some real butt up there and was like 4th or 5th in the division, I can't remember which, East or West or whatever, or conference, whatever its title. And anyways, I just found out yesterday from one of my family members that I ain't going to mention their names because I don't know if they would want me to mention their names or not, and I don't know if their parents would want me to mention their names because they are underage. But a family member that I have told me that they lost out of the championship, or not, the playoffs, because due to 6 games. And that's just, it aggravates the hell out of me. They're a good team. They're a good team with potential. Almost kind of like what IU used to be before they fired Bobby Knight. And it's breaking my heart to see that it's like they go so far and they piss the season away. It's almost like the stupid Indianapolis Colts. Even though I don't care for them anyways, but
The Colts haven't really been a good team since they lost, players like Bob Sanders since he's out because he hurt himself real bad. And, a lot of people do not like Manning. They really dislike Manning. But me personally, I thought Manning was a really good quarterback.
He carried the damn team.
Especially with the Colts. I mean, he's not so much for the Browns because I can't stand them.
And it's almost like the Cincinnati Bengals, too. I've seen them play a few games. I'm not an NFL guy by no means, but, just on the general subject of sports in general and relations of how I feel about the Blackhawks. It's just like the Cincinnati Bengals. I've seen a few of their games played like a year or two ago. They almost could have made it to the dang Super Bowl. And they couldn't. They didn't. They blew it away, which is aggravating. Of course, I'm going to be needing those. Well, that's going to be part of this subject.
Okay, I was just moving it.
Well, I appreciate it. It's much appreciated. Anyhow, I just would love, since I've been a hockey fan and everything, I would love to see them go to the Stanley Cup playoff, and be in that final thing, because knowing that the Chicago Blackhawks team itself has 2 special meanings to me. One is I finally found a team that I can call my home team in the NHL, because Indiana don't have a hockey team, and so Chicago's the closest state that I'm nearest to, and so to me that's my home team. Second, me and my buddy Barry, that was his team. He was from Chicago, and when I found out that he liked hockey, and then he found out I liked hockey, so it's like I got someone to have some camaraderie with, as well as a good friendship with, and based around a little bit of the game. So that's what the Blackhawks mean to me, man, and aggravates the hell out of me. And I don't know how many other Blackhawk fans are out there or anything, or if anybody's else out there is a hockey fan, but it just aggravates the hell out of me. And also, I like to say, along the lines of hockey, I'm glad that the St. Joe Sharks are doing good. They're like my 3rd team that I follow, And my second team is the NYR, New York Rangers, as which they're doing good too, from what I've gathered and followed on Twitter. And go ahead, man. I say Twitter. Some people say Twitter. I don't know what something with a T.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Anyhow, and also I follow Tampa Bay Lightning too. I like those teams. They're all doing pretty good. Better than what the Blackhawks done this year. And also the Canadian team that I follow, the Edmonton Oilers, they're doing pretty good. And I'm happy with that. Now, on to the second subject line. I don't know how many people out there read books anymore or anything, and I try to read a book, but it puts me to sleep. So, I like audiobooks instead, and I'm not all with the whole new stuff of, the audible stuff. I don't like that. I like physically having something, I don't like all this digital crap. And so, I like to show you a few books by one of my favorite authors, Clive Barker, that if you like horror fiction and stuff of that nature, and some stuff that kind of gets into like some surrealism to a certain degree, but mostly sticking with horror fiction fantasy with a little bit of whimsical nature, I like to recommend Mr. Begone. Now, Mr. Begone is an awesome book, and you got good reading skills, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm going to let someone read the description of this book that has better reading skills than I do. Tell you the description.
Mr. Begone marks the long-awaited return of Clive Barker, the greatest master of Maccabee, okay. To the classic horror story, this bone-chilling novel in which a medieval devil speaks directly to the reader claims to be a never-before-published demonic memoir, penned in the year 1438. The sole copy was, the story goes, created by the inventor of the printing press, Johannes Gutenberg himself, but his historic piece of writing immediately vanished without a trace until now. A demon known as Jacobok, has embedded his very self inside each word of this meticulously printed tale of the autobiographical terror. The reader is taunted and teased by his pleas for release from the confines of the very ink and paper that provided the vehicle for his life story. Little do they know the depths of the horror they hold in their hands. Reader beware, indeed, the Jacobok, aka Mr. B, escorts you on an unforgettable journey to the ultimate origins of the good and evil. Performed by Doug Bradley.
And if anybody don't know anything about the Hellraiser series, Doug Bradley is and will always be to me the only pinhead in the world.
One of the greatest pinheads in the world as well.
As well as a sensational horror film and mystery actor who also even starred in some of Clive Barker's earlier plays back in the day before there was ever anything on the big screen.
Daddy, not Mommy's.
This is Mommy's.
That's not mine.
That's mine. Here, you can have that.
Kids be kids, guys.
Well, then I don't know what to say, Sissy.
Now, I don't know how many of you out there are Hellraiser fans. I've been a Hellraiser fan for a while, and I'm going to tell you something. There's been this rumor going around forever about there being a new Hellraiser movie, and supposedly the people that are in the process of making this movie are supposed to be doing a great job, as well as referencing back to some of the first two movies in the series, as well as also even taking some advice from the horror fan man himself, Mr. Clive Barker. I don't know when this movie will be officially made, but when it does get out, I hope that it's awesome. Sadly, with the last 2 or 3 videos that have been made in the franchise, from what I've been told and aware of, they didn't pay or want to pay Doug Bradley not even the same price that a refrigerator box costs, as which is a total insult to the man's intelligence and an insult to the man's talent. But I would like to say that this next book I'm about to talk about,
I do have the release date for the new movie.
oh,
February 13th of this year.
and see, the thing of it is, they had made and I think it could have been a teaser too, had talked about releasing it back in March of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking around, I'm looking for off non-name brand movies, you know, and everything to see where it may have been, because I don't think, since the first two, and maybe Blood Ties, or whatever it's called, I can't remember the name of that one that involves the actual toy maker himself, but it's not been any of them in a cinema, as which I would love to see it in the cinema, and everything. And I'm hoping that it's not like the crappy Hellraiser Revelations, as which was stupid. That movie was made in 2 days, and it was just, it made the Blair Witch Project look like a Rob Zombie production. That's just how crappy Revelations is. Now, I bought it to throw it in with my collection, but I don't watch it, because I'm just the type of person that when I find a series I like, I want the whole series. But that's one that I won't watch. It's just part of the collection just to collect dust.
The new title for it is Hellraiser Judgment.
Where are some of the specs?
Detectives Sean and David Carter are on the case to hunt down a gruesome serial killer who is terrorizing the city. Joining forces with Detective Christine Egerton, they dig deeper into a maze of horror which may lead to the depths of hell.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this character, Christine. Everybody who's seen the first two Hellraisers know that Christine was the main character, and she knew how to deal with Pinhead and his following of Cenobites. And if anybody do not know what a Cenobite is, it actually is not just a fictional word. It means one or those that follow a religious order. Just thought I'd throw that little bit out there, because I didn't even realize that until a few years ago that I looked it up. But also, in I think it's here the third or fourth Hellraiser, I can't remember which one, it's been a while, where you got the detective who, I think it's Hellraiser Hellseeker, I think is the one that is. And Christine is back again in that one as a deal maker, if I remember right. I think it's that one. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. I am a big Hellraiser fan. I just can't remember which videos are which. But it's awesome. What's that?
This movie actually has only taken a year to a year and a half of production. This new one.
That means it might be great, guys.
The initial release was supposed to be last year, so they may have started at the beginning of, or the towards the beginning or the middle of 2016, and was supposed to release in 2017. Ran into some issues with some editing, and probably had to go back and redo it, which is good because apparently the new director they have for this one is Gary J. Tunnicliffe, however you pronounce his last name. He's the director, and it's going to be created through Dimensions Films, which I can't remember what the last few ones were made through.
One of them was.
But I do, however, know Dimensions Films is a very, very, very good movie producing company. So
them, and also Lionsgate.
Lionsgate, yes.
And that one, I think it's called Fear Factor or something like that, or is also a good one.
Mm-hmm. It's still recording, though.
Yeah. and I still want to stay on subject here.
Cannot wait. Especially if it's going to be in theaters. I think I might go see it.
Hell yeah. The only sad thing I don't like is they couldn't afford to pay scheme, but at the same time, though, they're trying to pay homage to his original character. The main actor, that's the new guy that's going to play Pinhead, has studies.
Well, what I actually is going as anybody, I know it's being produced by Dimensions.
Oh, it's going to be a real good one then.
Yeah. Films, so this is going to have some very good editing done to it. Then, at that point,
good. Probably some better effects than what they've had.
But it's based on and created by Clive. In order for them to even come close to a good Pinhead, especially they have a really good Pinhead going on, but
had something to do with the work. Oh, something that, just in case a lot of you fans don't know, if you ever see the horrible Rawhead X movie, I never knew that was done by Clive Barker, but did you know whenever they was making that movie, Clive Barker production studio and wouldn't let him in the studio. And then when he seen his wrote, he was so upset, and he said right then, anytime there was going to be another movie based, and we got some more connection problems. I hope everybody. I'd love to see Clive Barker make this into a real movie and make it into part of the Hellraiser series and everything. And well, he gotta go be a daddy, do that daddy thing, you know. But anyways, I don't know how many people out there are familiar with Clive Barker's newest book. As far as I know, hello viewer, thank you for checking us out and watching. Well, oh,
for the live chat in case somebody does get on.
Oh, well, I get tricked by that a lot. Anyways, oh yeah, just to let y'all know, Quaid's keeping a live update thing, so if you make a comment, we can respond back to you easily. But anyways, this book that Clive Barker wrote, I think back in 2016 or 2000 or towards the end of 2015.
The Scarlet Gospels.
Yeah, it's Clive Barker's The Scarlet Gospels, which is a very awesome book, and I couldn't put this down. Every chance I got, I was listening to this. I probably listened to this book like 40, 50. It's oh, snowing outside?
Yeah, it's snowing. I want to fit because the neighbor across the street pulled in the driveway.
Oh.
That was published in 2015.
2015. As far as I know, this has been the only book so far that Clive worked on in the recent. I love it very much, and it is a true battle in between heaven and hell, as well as a true battle in between who's going to be the next ruler of hell, because in this book, they got Clive Barker made Pinhead and the devil go toe to toe. It's almost kind of like a Highlander movie, but better. I'll let my cuz here read you the descriptions.
Alright, Pinhead is back and he is raising hell. For nearly 30 years, the Hell Priest, better known to us by his descriptive mantle of Pinhead, has been one of the most recognizable and famous characters of the pantheon of horror. Acclaimed literary icon, Clive Barker brings him back with the final chapter of his narrative begun in the Hellbound Heart, closing the circle of the Cenobite mythos for all time. Long beleaguered detective. I can't even pronounce that word, it's too long. Long beleaguered. Okay, there we go. Detective Harry D'Amour, Last Illusions, Everville. Investigator of things supernatural, magical, and malevolent or malevolent. Has been battling his own personal demons for years. When he happens upon a laminate configuration, a deeply intricate puzzle box that is rumored to open a doorway to hell itself, his own demons are replaced by the real thing as he finds himself caught in a terrifying game of cats and mouse that is brilliantly disturbing, and brilliantly complex. These words are hell's untold scripture, the Scarlet Gospels, the long-awaited horror epic is told by the undisputed master of the form. Clive Barker is a legendary author, filmmaker, and visual artist. For his acumen as a horror writer has been praised widely for its contribution to pop culture. Stephen King hailed Barker as the future of horror. That's a lot coming from. A lot.
Even got a quote on the top here that you can read by Stephen King.
Stephen King is probably one of my favorite horror novelists. I've read quite a bit of his books, so that says a lot. His books of Blood series, his novel of the Hellbound Heart, which inspired the Hellraiser movies, have amazed a global cult following and cemented their place in pop culture history. The Scarlet Gospel marks Barker's highly anticipated return to the horror fiction. I think Clive Barker is so good that I am literally tongue-tied. He makes the rest of us look like we've been asleep for the past 10 years. Stephen King. That says a lot. Stephen King is a master of horror, in my opinion. Is a master of horror, and I've read quite a few of his books. I've seen a lot of his movies, and for him to say that about another horror filmmaker and author, that is a lot.
There's one thing too. When after he had wrote the first or the Hellbound Heart and a few of his others out there, even Stephen King had even said that I have seen the new face of horror, and his name is Clive Barker. Also a quote of Stephen King to Clive Barker about
That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Have you seen the new movie It?
Yes, I like and both hate it.
Okay, so I like it because it actually shows ties to the book itself. But if you notice, Stephen King actually appears in that movie.
I thought he did, but I wasn't too for sure. What part did he appear in?
Stephen King is the pharmacist.
I thought that. I thought that looking, I wasn't too sure. But you want to know something that,
and you want to know what gave it away?
What was that?
Those glasses he was wearing, or the glasses he actually wears?
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that. I didn't catch that. Wow. Now I want to rewatch it, even though there are some things that I didn't like. Like, I mean, I've tried reading the book and everything, and I'd kind of get lost, like I said.
That is not hard to do with that book. It's kind of, it's confusing. It's all over the place, but honestly, it is a good book.
Now, the thing I like about the book, and one thing I do know that they tried to do in the movie, is show you what's really going on in the mind of Pennywise.
Which, that's what they do. And, when I watched it the other day, well, it wasn't the other day, it was a couple days ago, about a week or so, I noticed that the guy that they have playing Pennywise is brilliant. He literally made Pennywise come alive.
Now, I will have to say, though,
he doesn't beat the original.
Well, I ain't going to go there. I mean, everybody knows that. That is common sense. But I will have to say though that I do love, and for some reason I can never remember this guy's name, but he's like one of my favorite bad guy actors, and that's the guy that originally played Pennywise the Clown in the original.
Mm-hmm.
God, I wish I could remember his name. That aggravates the hell out of me. Something Tim, I think is his name. Tim Curry. That's it. Tim Curry is one of my all-time favorite bad guy actors because he makes you want to reach out through the television screen and slap the tar out of him. And if you can do that as an actor and be a bad guy, that's awesome. And that's totally awesome. About and shows you what the clown is thinking, or if you want to be technical, the fighter, because really it's really a spot. The things I didn't like was I was able to stay with the original book and everything. Hints of this. So it kind of maybe threw me off a little because reader, I couldn't really get sometimes, and then second, reading. I've seen now where you can buy that book or just about any book, But I've been told there are some references to this in the book of what I seen in the film, and I found that there was just too many references to pedophilia, and if you don't know what that is, too many references to, child molestation or something like that. Especially the scene with the, the pharmacist, which I did not realize was Stephen King.
Honestly, that film or that part of the film was actually not directed towards predatory stances. Literally, the entire predatory portion of that movie is literally just Pennywise himself.
But I kind of felt that's the vibe I picked up. Then you got the father too,
Okay, yeah, because I had to double watch. I had to watch the movie twice, and the first time I watched it, I could have swore in the part where Stephen King, was sitting there talking to her, and then she's like, "I like those glasses, let me try them on." I thought the first time, pardon my language, he said, "You look like a little slut," which would not surprise me coming from Stephen King. Hello, or evening, fellers. Hope you're all doing well. By the great American Doc Piper.
Hey, guy, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. And appreciate all the viewers watching. Hope you find something we're doing interesting. Do leave a comment. And since my cousin has the thing, what do you call that?
The live chat pulled up.
Yeah, since he has the live chat pulled up, oh, thank you. And everything. I'm glad. So, he can help us respond quicker back to you. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I think they do.
Back on topic, anyway. I thought he said, she looked like a little slut. But when I rewatched it, he actually told her she looked fine. You look good. So I had to double watch that to check that. But digging a little deeper into that movie, where I was talking about the predatory stances, where he would be a child predator. The reason why I found out, what I got from it, the reason why he takes the children is because he feeds off of them to stay alive.
Well, yeah.
And the only way he stays alive is if the kids stay scared of him in this new one.
Well, there's the same way in the old one, too. Just there wasn't more elaborate on it. But that one also, one thing a lot of people don't realize that I later on found out was that was actually made to be a television miniseries, where this is a big screen cinema movie.
Which is good because, like I said, the new actor, which I can't remember his name, he's Swedish. I do know that. But I like how realism, how he actually really brings what he's putting into it. He done a very good job with that. Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, for a minute I thought that was a picture of him too.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård. That's his name.
like he could pass for being Jeffrey Dahmer.
But he did a hell of a job, in my opinion. And, I'd like to do another movie to, bring the character to life. Really properly and made him creepy. I think he was creepier than Tim Curry.
Or did we just
that was just the connection.
I hate that. Something else that I liked and hated too was I did like the fact that they made him look more like a Victorian clown. I didn't like it, but at the same time though too, as far as the creepy looking side of it, Victorian clowns kind of were creepy looking too naturally.
Right. But I think it's funny at the beginning of that movie, of the new movie, where, Georgie goes to get his boat. That was... Did that perfectly. Good. Back there and watch a movie.
So we don't care if it's almost over.
You need to go back in there and be good, okay? Now. No. For instance, I like the original Michael, but
Yes.
I mean, they literally Myers to the monster that he's really portrayed to be.
I love getting the other side of that story. None of the originals really elaborated on who Michael. His mind flipped to that psycho-sociopathic, murderous, homicidal character.
And like I said, the way Rob Zombie, they behind it, because I know I've watched the original, a few times, and when he did his original redo, when Rob Zombie did the original redo, you see parts of the story that were left out in the original, and which really makes you think, hey, finally the knowledge that I've wanted on this is finally here to me. So it was really good, and I wish, it'd be pretty cool if Rob Zombie went and did a retake on like the Hellraisers.
I was just thinking that.
Or if he, if they made, because rumor has it that they're actually talking about coming out with another It. If Rob Zombie was to get involved with something like that, that would be pretty awesome too.
I think Rob Zombie could take it to the next level beyond. I think the only person that could probably do it better than Rob Zombie would be the master of horror himself, and that would be a mix of Stephen King. Of course, it's a Stephen King original, anyways.
Right.
As far as the main idea behind the story. But I think Clive Barker, either Rob Zombie or Clive Barker,
or get a, where they were both to work on it together. That would be brilliant.
Though, as far as whimsical, I would love to see these few guys actually get together and make a horror film together. I would love to see Tim Burton get together with Clive Barker, Rob Zombie, Stephen King, and even George Lucas, if George Lucas would have the balls to do it. And yes,
he's not much of a
Well,
a horror film per se. He's more of a, because I did a little bit of digging into George Lucas. You know,
I know he made a mistake selling it out to Disney.
Yeah, he's more of a science fiction producer, and where this is actually like mythological horror.
But you mix a little bit of that together, I think all of them together, I mean, to be honest with you, if Jim Henson was still alive, I'd throw him in that bucket too. Because, George Lucas, as far as like, the fiction part of it, like the one Hellraiser Bloodline, when it shows you the whole thing of Pinhead and the origin, the way it showed the outer space and stuff, if George Lucas had something involved in that, that whole thing, the whole space thing would have turned out being better.
Right.
5 times better. And then Tim Burton, as well with Clive Barker, on how all of his horror is whimsical. If you really think about it, as far as the Hellraiser point of view is concerned, and a few others, like Imagica, and even Faith of Nowhere, and Cabal, even, they all have that whimsical rhyme, that goes and goes and don't stop. Montgomery, horror/fantasy. That's right, man. That is totally right. It's a horror mixture, and I like that aspect because it just makes things flow. It has that flow. It's like I guess the best way I can kind of describe it, of how I kind of view it, it's like taking Broadway and throwing horror fiction with Broadway. Like, even though I would love to see a version of this be made to where there ain't no singing, but Sweeney Todd, man. Sweeney Todd, if you think about it, that really is a horror film / musical.
Kind of like, like the Rocky Horror film. Did you know Tim Curry's actually in that?
Yeah, and he's also in the new one, but he don't play Frankenfurter, he plays the other guy.
Aww. It's okay. It's okay. Aww. Poor baby.
Cousin's a daddy, and he got his kids here, and he doing some daddy stuff. The baby's crying and everything, and stuff. But anyways, I think you take even all them guys, put them in a bucket. Whether it's a Hellraiser movie or some other new concoction, as it would be nice to see. I would really love to see it. And also, one thing I love about Tim Burton too is he still kind of keeps some of that stop animation stuff alive and going, and that's a lost, dying art. I like kids.
I love kids. I love my kids, but they're a handful. Because my youngest is cutting teeth and kind of cranky.
I think it'd be nice if we could do one of these videos like at a park somewhere or just outside. That way kids can be occupied with other things.
We could. I'm going to go ahead and give our viewers a little bit of a scenery of what's going on outside here. Got a bunch of snow and whatnot, so kind of cold out today. But eventually, when it starts warming up, when we do these family talk show videos, we will start going out to like some of my favorite spots out in the Green Sullivan State Forest and stuff of that nature, because I'm a huge outdoors person.
My favorite spot out there is being all ripped apart now for coal mining purposes, because some of it they're actually remining again.
You're talking about the Sullivan part, right? Which is right down the road over here?
No, the part there where I used to live at there. On the other side of Linton, they're tearing that whole wooded area apart now.
I have a specific spot that I like to go out there, and you've got a horse trail on one side, and then you've got like, not so much a camping site, because you get caught camping out there, you get in a lot of trouble.
Like a day camp, more or less.
Pretty much, you go out there and you can hang out. Some of us, even though it's kind of illegal per se, but we'll go out there and shoot some guns and whatnot and fish. I mean, as long as you're not shooting into the water. That's common sense. Don't shoot into the water. As long as you ain't doing that, usually a lot of the COs around here will let you slide, as long as you're showing responsible firearm safety. Which
that's important.
Which we go out there, we could maybe do that, but I mean, I don't know how your audience would view that. I don't know if any of them are against firearms or whatnot.
One of my buddies that I work with down in Kentucky, Games and Ammo, man. Y'all, if you ain't checked out Games and Ammo, y'all check out Games and Ammo. That dude's a fellow piper. Which, by the way, folks, I'm sorry about my poor housekeeping, but I'm smoking my 708 1876 Leonardo out of my London, England pipe. That's mighty fine. What are you vaping?
Well, folks, today I am vaping on the Pulse Squonk BF box with the Pulse 24mm RDA. For those of you that don't know what RDA means, again, it means rebuildable dripping atomizer. But this is what you would call an RSA or an SRA, which would mean rebuildable squonking atomizer, because typical dripping would require you to pull this top cap off, take your bottle, drip some on your cotton, and then go about what you're doing. Well, squonking, for those of you that don't know what that means, I'll go ahead and let you know what that means. This little bottle right here is a silicone bottle. It holds e-liquid in it, and you just squeeze that bottle and it shoots juice up through the bottom and gets your cotton and saturates it. That's for people who prefer the flavor off of an RDA versus, like I was saying earlier, a sub-ohm tank.
What I nicknamed the sonic screwdriver.
Well, this one's just my wife's other one that I'm using because my other one's charging.
Y'all look like a sonic screwdriver to me. Those ones like that. Seriously, I'm going to buy a replica of a sonic screwdriver and hold it up sitting right next to one of those. It looks exactly the same. It does. Speaking of which, I think they need a doctor that smokes a pipe. And a sidekick that vapes.
Don't know much. I don't know much about Doctor Who, but I do remember watching one of your videos the other night, and you were talking about Sherlock Holmes. That is one of my favorite books and movies to watch. Anything about Sherlock Holmes.
I like the classical ones that has Nigel Rathbone and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yep, those are good. I do like the new movies, however, but
50-50 with me on the new stuff.
But I like how they get into the where they get into the mysteries behind who is that? It's the Freemasons, but it's like Scottish Rite or something that they get into the mysteries on. Which is pretty neat, because to find out, the Masonry started back, pre-1700, somewhere in that era. It's been around for a long time, and some people looked at it as a secret society of things, but really they're not. They're open about what they do. Most of them are.
I say it just depends on which aspect you look at things from, because I can see things on the surface, but at the same time, I'm also the type of person that likes to take my shovel and dig in deeper, and make it bleed on certain particular subjects and everything. Now, I'm not saying that, on the one side where I'm look at everything like that, I'm not saying it's all bad, because if you think about it, every organization out there has its downsides as well as its upsides, and not everybody within any form of organization are a bunch of evil, corrupt people. But everything has its darker side, and I'm the type of person who likes to scratch at it to find the truth sometimes. But also that gets into conspiracy theories and all that junk, and I try not to talk about that a lot because a lot of people have already overplayed that crap. You know what I'm saying? And people get a headache from it. It's like the politics of the non-politics.
Correct.
Or the closed curtain behind the politics.
I mean, like I've said, there's different organizations within that. Some are bad, some are good. It really just depends on where you're at in the whole deal.
Oh yeah.
Which, let's get off that subject. That's a touchy subject anyway.
Once again, politics.
I mean, everybody's got their own beliefs behind things, so it's better to let it be than sit and argue and pick at it. So
you want to know a fact though?
I mean,
this is a real serious fact. You can believe a preacher more than you can a used car salesman.
Well, yeah, I know that. Trust me, I work at a used car lot.
Oh,
I know what goes on behind closed doors at car lots, people. So,
ooh, that sounds kind of, well, I don't know the word quite to say, but that sounds kind of.
All I gotta say is, if you're buying a used car, make sure you do some digging on that used car before you go and buy it. I've seen plenty of bad issues. And I've watched plenty of cars that come in looking decent but go out, when they get bought, they are crap. So, just a little bit of a heads up. Do your research on the vehicle you're buying. This is coming from a guy who works at a used car lot.
And if you're a detailer or ever detailed vehicles before, like I have a past of, and everything, you can make a worthless piece of crap shine like a diamond.
Which, around here, there's no longer a lemon law to affect any of the lemon law stuff, you know what I mean? You can't buy a vehicle, or you're not supposed to sell a vehicle with problems without letting them know. And if something happens with it, back then they were supposed to take care of it. Now they don't have to do that. They can make you pay. It's all about the money.
Buy as is the bottom line. Meaning, you buying it, you know it's used, and you're acknowledging that it possibly could have been someone else's headache.
Correct. Which...
Oh, for those of you who didn't know, Mama's in the background entertaining my cousin's kids the best she can. Mom's pretty good with kids. She likes kids too.
I don't know if she's online. I just know that was a Facebook message.
She watches once in a while.
Oh.
That's my dear sweet friend. Sweetest lady I ever met. Aside from my mother.
I used to be a sweet kid at one point in time.
It's almost like, no more Mr. Nice Guy. No more me. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
You guys better listen. Right now, you better stop.
I went to church incognito. Brother Smithy recognized.
Daddy been a back road Baptist. Share his first row sin. Saturday night still on his breath every morning when he walks in. That's true, Believe it or not. When they talk, when you hear somebody sing a song about, Baptist churchgoers and them being the ones with a lot of heavy drinking, it really is true, because I grew up in a Baptist background, so...
You know who got his beat?
Catholics.
Yep. This guy...
There's another food for thought here. Did you know that like 99.9% of your average Native American believes in Baptist beliefs?
That actually is a fact. Because it don't expect. Well, I don't know about all Native tribes, but I know the Cherokee especially because it didn't veer away from the principal beliefs that they already had.
Oh, and did you know? I don't know if I may have talked about this in a previous video, but Cherokee Native American Indians also have close blood ties with the Jews.
We have talked about this in the one video that also ended up being about bashing on bullies.
Correct. Okay. I didn't know if I'd brought
Random
that up.
Thought is the name of that video.
Random Thoughts, yeah.
If you want to hear how we all feel about bullies, just go watch the video called Random Thought.
About time to juice her up again.
Oh, look at that. I just about caught the matchbox on fire.
Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
Take my shades off here. I can't even wear sunglasses in my vehicle. It's too dark in there. Can't see while driving.
You know what I think is funny? You got these people buying trucks. Now, I don't know if you see it in your town, but this annoys the hell out of me. Got people buying trucks, okay? Most of the old GMCs or Chevy S10s, okay? These things are low to the ground anyways to begin with. You got people lowering them even more, thumping some kind of rap music or something in them.
You know what? To stop you there for a second.
I'm just saying, if you're going to buy a truck, buy a truck. If you want a lowrider, buy a car.
Okay, you know, I disagree with the whole lowrider thing. I'm not for that. I like big jacked up lifted trucks. And you know, I would rather slap a 12-inch subsystem in a lifted truck and do that than, you know, worrying about scratching my paint job every time I pull into a parking lot with a little bit of an incline.
Not even a foot bunny hill.
Right, you know.
Barely a speed bump.
So, I like, you know, audio systems. I like bass, whether it be, you know, some rap or some rock or some, hey, even country. If you listen to country on a set of subs, it's got bass and it thumps.
Don't do any good for Detroit Rock City, though. I've experienced that. It makes Detroit Rock City sound like crap.
The older more classic rock does not sound that great on systems like the old Snoop Dogg and Dre stuff. That doesn't even sound good on sound systems, in my opinion. There are some people that will disagree with me, but it's distorted on subs.
You know, the only thing I can think of about Snoop Dogg is rolling down the street, sipping on gin and juice, got my money on my mind and my mind on my money. That or drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Big try to get at you. Pop it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. I can't stand rap, but there are certain things that stick out to me sometimes, and if something can stick out to me, then either I'll just like the song, or they just might get a half-assed fan. Snoop Dogg, he probably has maybe 2 songs in his entire career that I like, and I just kind of partially sing both of them. And then I like ICP.
Oh,
Reason why I like ICP, though, is because listening to their stuff is like watching a Clive Barker film. It's twisted. I like it.
you know, I am not very much of an ICP fan. I used to be, and I can thank you for that. But, you know, after many years of like growing up and, you know, listening to their music and then looking back at what I used to thump driving through town as a kid with my friends is like, man, I can't have that stuff around my kids.
Well, it's with, you know, one's personal discretion, you know.
Which I will admit I used to listen to a lot of ICP. So, I mean, they got a couple songs that I still like, but other than that, I won't really like listen to much of their stuff nowadays because it's more vulgar than what the other stuff I listen to is.
Well, that's understandable, you know. Now they've got 2 songs I absolutely love. Now they've caught in a lot of hell over these 2 songs, but I love the song "Miracles," and I love their song "Where's God." Now, even though in the song "Where's God" there's a few controversial words, but you know what? They got the surrealism. You know, it's not like all these guys out there singing about, you know, getting shot and all this other crap, gangster crap, you know, in these songs. They're actually talking about some surreal stuff that happens in your backyard every day. And I love the surrealism. It's beautiful, beautiful art. And, you know, despite a few language barriers or whatever, you know, the song, if you ain't heard or listened to the song, or even if you don't like rap in general or anything, I recommend listening to the song "Miracles" and the song "Where's God." Now, a lot of people say, well, no, they're actually making a mockery. No, if you really listen to the lyrics. Because I actually watched a video that popped up the lyrics one time just to see if I was listening to things right and everything, you know, and understanding things right. And despite a few cussing, or what people consider to be cussing or curse words, these guys pretty much are, in a roundabout way, preaching you the gospel with some surrealism.
But, you know, they're more of what you call horror rap.
And I like that.
You know, like I said, I grew up listening to him, and I said, you know, I got that from you, and
and I got it. I kind of got introduced to ICP through my cousin Tally. I don't know if you ever met Tally or not, but
no,
he's a grammar Nazi.
yeah, I got quite a few friends that are like that.
I liked him, man, but he's a grammar Nazi. He looked out for me a little bit when I was growing up in Worthington, Indiana.
But part of the reason why I kind of quit listening to him is because I was listening to one of their songs, and they were talking about killing some dude, and I'm like, I don't want none of that.
Well, depending on which way you look at it. Once again, too, and even Violent J and Shaggy, Two Dope, both had said this one time. They said, you know, that where are the parents at, you know, to guide the child, and why are they letting them listen to such things in the first place? You know, and it was all during that whole thing where everybody wanted to blame crap on Marilyn Manson. They wanted to blame crap on this guy and that guy when the whole entire Columbine crap happened. And to be quite honest with you, they wanted to veer from what the real problems really were, as which one part of that, in my opinion, is parents not being parents and not stepping up to the plate. You know, I knew I should have put my portable charger on. But I didn't. It's over there. But it's probably dead. Yeah, I didn't plug it in. Of course, again, I could be lucky. Am I lucky or what?
Not very lucky. It's not charged.
Oh, well. Well, that means we're going to have to end this video soon then. Well, you know, we always stretch into some good content. You know.
Say hi to me on mic.
Hey, Mike.
No, it's Linda Smith.
Oh, Linda Smith.
And who do you want to win the Super Bowl?
Well, anybody but the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, it's going to be the Eagles and the Patriots, which, to be honest...
Now, who are you talking about? Are you talking about me or my cousin? Because my cousin's married, I'm single. So who's that question directed to?
Oh, lost our camera. Pretty sure it's to you. You're so cute.
Who is so cute? Are you talking about my cousin or are you talking about me?
Not me, because she was saying that before I got on the camera.
I don't know how someone can send a pic through this. Well, we're cute. Golly. Ain't that something?
I got my married.
I didn't know someone could send pictures.
I wasn't aware of that either. But Gmail, type Gmail in chat. Think she wants your Gmail info.
I don't care. Go ahead.
What is it?
Actually, I really don't like using Gmail a whole lot, to be honest with you. I'm sunarrow86 at yahoo.com. Linda Schmidt.
This is just Sun Arrow 86.
Sunarrow86 at yahoo.com. I don't normally put that type of stuff out there, but whatever. Even though personally I like being single. I come and go as I please and please as I come and go. Of course, I don't do YouTube to pick up women. I do it because it's one of the many ways that I
express
myself, deal with depression, as well as the camaraderie of the YTPC, as which I love all my YTPC members in the community. I also love all my normal subs. Well, I'll check later on, see if I got it. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being a fan. If you're not subbed, hit like and subscribe. See more of my lovely, beautiful face. Boy, I always thought I just had a face only a mother could love.
I thought so too.
I mean, honestly, look at this.
I watch porn and you watch it.
I'm sorry to tell you this. I'm not all about this obscenity here. If you don't mind, ignore, because I try to keep things like this family oriented, and I want this channel to be a channel that parents will love to allow their children to watch. And so if that is a question that involves any form of pornography, we are not going to questions or speak of such questions because they will be ignored. Right on that.
Meaning, if you keep up the obscenity, I will go ahead and get an IP block done on it. Just because we're family oriented. I've got children that are actually in the room, so yeah, please don't do that. Want me to
What's that thing say?
Everything and put her in timeout.
Oh.
Now, when that happens, like if you happen to be able to see what they're saying, all you're going to do is click on their name, which me, on mine, personally, since this is your channel, all I can do is report them. You can delete them, put them in timeout, and stuff of that nature. So every time that she tries to type, it'll say message deleted by Sunarrow86. So we can view everything that's said.
Oh, okay.
On yours.
Man. I mind a little friendly flattery once in a while, you know.
Yeah, but not on live internet. No, let's try to keep that to a minimum because there are kids that possibly will watch this. Yeah, that. So on that note, we should probably go ahead and end this because we're already offline.
Alright. Well, back is just live streaming and it won't show up. we'd like to say thank you for hitting like, subscribe. Thank you, little no. Also, if you ain't seen or went over and watched, what's your channel name again?
The Vaping Hu-
Watch Hoosier. Check him out. His first debut vaping video. Hope you enjoy it. Wherever you're at in this world, may be blessed. And as always, anything else?